was sitting there, I was thinking about this time last year, we were asked to get a couple of students who were success stories from JD to go to the Board of Education and speak. And we thought of Lucretia and communicate with her back and forward. And when we got in touch with her, she was in New York working and on her way to California. So that gives you an idea how much she travels in her job. And we are excited and how blessed we are to have her here today, that maybe she's between New York and California. And she could come by Bruton, Alabama to be a blessing to us. I've known Lucretia since 2002, 10 years. How about that? And when I met her, she was an energetic, new student. She was an upward bound student, and she came into SSS as soon as she started at JD. I remember her well for the many, many great attributes about Lucretia. One of the things that I thought about her is that one of the things I do is encourage students to have a plan B. That's one of our big things in the room. Yeah. Always have a plan B. Lucretia was one of those kind of students who had a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. She came equipped, she had questions, she was eager, she was energetic, and just delightful to serve. I remember us taking a trip to Tennessee. Back then, we traveled out of state with our students, and we learned so many things. Lucretia wanted to go to the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. And so she was all excited. She was getting her BS degree in nursing, and she was excited about getting up out of South Alabama to go to Tennessee. One day she came by to see me, and she said, "You know what, Dr. Nicholson, I'm going to pay out-of-state fee. I'm not going to be able to do that." So this is the person who knows what she can do and what she can't. And, well, I think can is not a part of who she is. What she can do easily and what she has to work harder on to make it happen. So she got busy looking at one of the greatest schools in Alabama, University of Alabama at Birmingham, looking for degree scholarships and what she would need to make her way to the University of Alabama in Birmingham. So Lucretia graduated from JD and headed off up there, that was in 2006, headed off up to Birmingham. And would hear from her from time to time. And the next thing I know, she does not have her BS degree in nursing. She has her BS degree in an amazing field, health informatics. Information management, and her master's in health informatics. I've been saying informatics ever since I first heard it. Health informatics. It is an amazing field. I won't try to tell you about it because part of what she's going to do is tell you about her work. But I will tell you that even when she was at the UAB, taking nursing courses, getting ready to take nursing courses, getting herself ready to move to the next level, even after she's graduated, I would email her and say, "I have a student who's interested in nursing or who's interested in going to UAB. Would you talk to the student and give them some ideas about what to look for, some things to do?" And her answer across the board is always, "I'd be happy to do it, Dr. Nicholson." We have, anytime someone wants us to highlight one of our students, there are a couple of national honors that go with the TRIO community. We've submitted her name, she's published. When I was looking for her for the Department of Ed speaking opportunity, I found her through a professor at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, so she's still very active, very well known there, very well loved. It is my honor and my great pleasure to present to you Ms. Lucretia Johnson.
Wow, what more can I say after? I didn't even, Dr. Billy mentioned UT, and she was like, "Wasn't it you?" I forgot about it. I forgot about it. That was a long journey, wasn't it, Mom? A long journey. Had a lot of reality checks along the way. But as Dr. Nicholson stated, my name is Lucretia Johnson. My hometown, I'm originally from Birmingham, well, from McCullough, Alabama. And for some that don't know, McCullough is just outside of Forge, just outside of Freemanville, and for some who knows the area, you can go through McCullough to get to Uri, Alabama. So I'm from a small country, and but it is small enough to where we're all family, and we all know each other, and that's okay. I currently reside in Birmingham, Alabama, where Dr. Nicholson mentioned I transferred there to pursue a degree in nursing, my BS in nursing. And the story goes on to how that changed. I'm a graduate of Escambia County High School, graduate of the class of 2002. While enrolled or while there in high school, I was an Upward Bound student, which is where I was introduced to Dr. Billy and later to Dr. Nicholson as I was a student here at JD. One of the things during the Upward Bound program, we had to, as seniors, as we graduated, one of the things that we had to do was we became a bridge student. So one of the requirements as a bridge student, as a graduate of the Upward Bound program, is we had to enroll in, I think, 2 classes. We had to take our first courses here at a college, and so that was a little scary. It was quite challenging, you know, leaving high school English and going into college English the professors was a little bit harder. Teachers weren't as lenient. You couldn't get by with a lot of the errors that you used to can do in high school, but it was a wake-up check for a lot of us, and it was then we kind of realized that, okay, we can't play here as we played in high school, and that was okay. That was okay, because for the ones that wanted to succeed, we knew what we had to do, and we knew what kind of road we had ahead of us. That's when, right after I finished the bridge, while in high school, I had a strong desire to go to Belhaven. My mom and I traveled, who's here with me today, my mom and I traveled to Mississippi to attend Belhaven, and things didn't quite go my way. Belhaven pretty much stated to me, because I had such a low ACT score, they pretty much stated that I couldn't come there, I wasn't ready, I wasn't what Belhaven wanted. And that was okay, you know, that was okay. It was, you need to start at a community college, and that's where you just need to begin and just go from there. They was like, come back to us. Okay, you know me, that's okay. I'm not gonna come back to you guys. I'm just not gonna come back, but throughout high school, you do well in school, you test well while in school, but there are some standardized tests that some just don't test well, and I was one of those persons. Even during the Upward Bound examinations that we had throughout the beginning of the year, just never tested well. I wasn't that student that tests well on the standardized test. But that's okay. I began to practice more. I began to practice on the ACT. I think I took it about 3 times. Score still wasn't high enough. I placed myself here at JD. This was my home. This is where I knew this was going to be my start, with a strong, strong desire to pursue nursing. I had the goal, the career path that I wanted for me was to become an RN, work as an RN, and I was going to become a certified registered nurse anesthetist. That's where my head was. That was where I was trying to go. And in order to get there, that's where Miss Bradley, which I hate I missed her today, that's where she kind of came in at, and Dr. Nicholson, everyone helped to kind of help me understand what I needed to do, what courses I needed to take, what GPA I needed to have, everything that I needed to have in order to succeed. I am so grateful for the individuals that have been placed in my life. I am so grateful because those individuals supported me every step of the way. Once I graduated here at JD, and let me back up a little bit. Before I graduated, and as I pursued nursing, I couldn't get into the program. Again, I had to take a test. I didn't test well. I had the GPA, but I did not test well enough to get into the nursing program, and I think I applied twice. So just when I decided to transfer, had a strong passion for UT, I was headed that direction. That's where I wanted to go, and everybody, no one stopped me. My parents never stopped me. only tried to say, Lucretia, are you sure? Well, do you have this? I want to also mention that I'm also first generation. And that's also different because my parents have never, as well as I've never experienced a lot of the things that I encountered along this path. And so they never stopped me. They never said, no, you can't go. They just always said, are you sure? So I always go back to Dr. Nicholson. Miss Bradley, am I sure? What am I doing? Am I on the right path? You know, what about this cost? In reality, it cost extremely too much for me. We didn't have the funds. It just wasn't there for me to go to UT, but that's okay. I found a second home. I found my home at UAB. So just as I prepared myself, I graduated JD in 2004 as a pre-nursing student. Just as I graduated that summer, the nursing program here at UAB sent me a scholarship letter. I received a scholarship letter, and I believe I was accepted into the nursing program. I thought it was too late. It's too late, I'm moving on, and I went on to UAB. Made my home at UAB and began to take the courses necessary at UAB to pursue a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. As I got ready to enter into not necessarily into the program, but to fulfill the prereqs while there or admission into the nursing program, I soon realized that universities are much different than community colleges. Once you get ready to enter into a degree program, you not only just have the university's GPA, but you now have the nursing school's GPA. Nursing schools don't take all of the classes, courses, the A's that you've made in microcomputer. They don't take all of those great easy A's that you made. They take the harder ones. they take the harder grades. And so realizing that, I looked and my GPA fell a little short of what they required me to have. So I took a step back. I stepped back and I started to retake courses that I had made C's in or that I had made B's in here at JD, only in hope that I would make that A to bring my GPA up to get into nursing school. While doing that, I also fulfilled other prereqs at the University of Nursing's program that they had, taking CPR and any of the other requirements that they required. That's what I did. I wanted to make sure that I had all of my ducks in a row. I didn't want anything to fail, nothing. I just wanted to make sure I was all clear and I was ready to go. In 2004, around September of 04, I don't know if you guys remember this, but we had a horrible hurricane come through, and it was Ivan. Hurricane Ivan came through in 04. During that hurricane, my grandmother passed. My grandmother passed, and she fell and she hit her head, and we didn't have lights, and she fell and hit her head, and along with that, she had swelling on the brain and some other conditions, and she passed during that month, September of 04. That took a huge toll on me, and it took the toll on me to where I felt as if just nothing mattered. Emotionally, physically, mentally, I died. And along with my parents' support, along with other family member support here at JD, Upward Bound supporters, Grandma was the biggest supporter. I could be off from work, and I could have a day off from work, and she would look at me and be like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Grandma, I'm off." "Well, are you sick?" "No, ma'am." "Well, you better go to work before they fire you." "But Grandma, I'm off today." And that's, it was nonstop. We sat home and we watched TV until it was time to go to class, and I promise it was like every bit of an hour before class, "But you better leave, you're gonna be late." "But Grandma, I still have an hour to get to class." "You better go." So she pushed and she pushed. But when she passed, it took that such a toll on me to where I started to flunk my courses at UAB. The courses that I began to be taking to pursue that nursing degree, that famous career path that I had set out for myself, it started to kind of go down the drain for me. And so I made F's, and I believe statistics, received my first F on my transcript. I just could have passed out. What am I doing at this point? UAB placed me on academic probation, and as well as financial aid, didn't want to give me aid anymore. So along with pleading, writing letters, trying to prove myself, I did just that to get back into that field, and along with the nursing program, again declining my admission, but that's okay. I tried to keep my head up, got back on my horse. I saddled right back up, called mom, hey, this is what's happening. Obviously nursing is not for me. It's not working out, it's nothing that I do. It's starting to just go my way at this point. So what do I do? I began searching. I believe I actually contacted Student Support Services again. I believe I contacted Dr. Nicholson as well as Miss Bradley. I think she was still here. Around the same time, I began to contact people that I knew to try to help me search for another passion, to try to search for another field. I knew I wanted to still be in patient care because I love people. I love taking care of people. I knew I still wanted that patient care. I knew I wanted to still stay in a hospital setting, but what do I do? At that point, I began to love computers. So I have a desire for patient care, I have a desire for computers. What do I do? And health information management fell into my lap. And I spoke with the individuals there at UAB, the program director, spoke with everyone that I needed to speak with, and they accepted my application. I got accepted into the program, as well as I got a job at University of Alabama at Birmingham Hospital / health system, because they had two different little areas. Got a job with UAB Health System in the Health Information Management Department. So while I'm starting work, I got accepted into this program that I don't even know what am I doing. I don't know what it's about. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't even know what kind of job I'm gonna be able to get afterwards. Only the ones that they post online for just kind of advertisement. You know you can get those jobs. What else is out there for me? I had no idea. But I knew I was going into something, and they accepted me, so I was going forward. I wasn't gonna stop this time. Only to find out once I got into the program and once I got hired at UAB in the HIM department as a file clerk, the director of the department, the supervisor, along with other area supervisors within the department were my professors. And it was awesome how everything began to fall into place for me. And I began to actually feel like this was what was meant for me. Everything just started to fall into place. My professors understood. I worked full-time at UAB as well as at the UAB hospital, and I was a full-time student in the UAB HIM program. And the program was completely online, which was even greater because I had the ability to work and go to school full-time at my pleasure. I didn't have to go to class. I stayed up late at night, did what I had to do to accomplish my goal. One of the things about the HIM field that I don't think a lot of people realize is it's so big. It's not narrow. It's not just one thing in particular that you can do with that major. For HIM, or for Health Information Management, a lot of people know it as medical records. And yes, I get this question all the time. I didn't know you had to have a degree in medical records to work in medical records. Yes, you have to have a degree if you don't want to be the person just pulling the files off the shelf. If that's your starting point, that's fine, because that's a starting point. But you have to have a degree if you want to go higher. And so in medical records or in the field of health information management, you also can be a coder. You can be a revenue cycle integrity consultant. It's a lot of traditional things you can do with a degree as well as non-traditional things. Once I graduated from the program in 2007 with university or school honors, because I was in the honors program while enrolled, and I also did my first publication while enrolled in the honors program. And with I received my first publication that's out on the American Health Information Management Association's website. A lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of crying to mom, I don't know what to do. The mentor that Dr. Nicholson found was the lady that co-authored the publication with me. She was my mentor in school. And after I graduated from the program, we went in together and just wrote the article, and we were able to get it published with the association who my credentials are through. So after graduation, I was able to sit for the credentials, the certification as a registered health information management, or as a registered health information administrator. For those that want to pursue a degree in health information management, getting your credentials is valuable to you as well as whatever organization that you plan to be employed through, because that certification indicates that you are an expert, or you at least have all of the knowledge that you need in order to work within the field. For a lot of the ones that are pursuing billing and coding, I know there are a lot of programs that are out there for billing and coding. However, you really do need your credentials through the American Health Information Management Association in order to work in a. And so once I graduated there in 2007, I began searching for a job, and as challenges, first, new graduate, nothing's out there, I don't have my credentials yet, what do? I was hired with a coding company that would require me to travel 100%, but not only did they require me to travel, they required me to move. Again, another obstacle for me. With the moving part was, I thought it was the best deal ever. I'm gonna be moving, I'm gonna be making, I don't know, I think it was like $35,000. Woo-hoo for a new grad. I thought I was making a lot of money, and which it is. It's a lot of money for a new graduate student coming right out of college, having that first time job, having the opportunity or being given the opportunity by this employer to be taken up under their wing in order for them to kind of guide you. And so I thought I had the best thing ever. Well, with the move that I was going to have to make to Atlanta, I couldn't, because I had just renewed my lease in Birmingham. So my obstacle, kind of put my face down. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I soon realized that for me, what God has for me, it is for me. And so I began to understand that, okay, that's not for me. This is obviously just not what he wants me to do. This is not where he wants me to be, because I stopped to put myself aside into the things that I desired and required for him to utilize me and for the things that he wanted to use me for. And so I put that to the side. I couldn't go, couldn't travel. So I got a non-traditional job. Not as a coder inside of a traditional hospital setting. I decided to go with correctional health care. Again, I tapped into a field that I didn't even study in school. What am I gonna do here? But that's okay. I took whatever skills, whatever knowledge that I had that was given to me and introduced to me at UAB, and I took it and took that job and did correctional health care. With the correctional health care, the company that I was with, I was a medical record specialist. And what the company did was they were contracted with different prison systems as well as jails to take care of the inmates. And so whenever the inmates needed to go out for patient care, whenever they needed to go to the hospitals, whenever they needed to do just follow up with whatever physician that couldn't be done inside of the prison or inside of the jail, they would send them outside. So what we were responsible for as a company, we were responsible for taking care of the bill, paying the bill for them, as well as gathering the medical records. That's where I come in at. I got the medical records. I was the middleman between the prison and the physician offices or the hospital. And I would get the medical records once the inmate would go out, or patient, I hate to say inmate, they're patients, regardless of the status at the time. I would get the medical records for the patient from the hospital or the physician office and send them back to the prison. So whatever the prison needed or the jails needed at the time as far as records, that's what I would do. So I would send them back to the prison, to the doctors there for continuity of care, because they still need care as well. And it is a hospital, or a mini hospital, as I would say, inside of the prison system or the jail system. They have their own care there. So that's what I did for a year. I still wasn't satisfied. Knew it was something else that I wanted to do out there. It was where I needed to be at the time, because that's where I finished up the publication and got it out there. And I also went ahead and applied to graduate school at UAB. Again, thinking in my head of electronic health records and how health records are electronically supposed to be nationwide in 2014. I hope that we can make that go. I hope that we can make that happen, but we're still in much need and having much progress to achieve that. But in 2008, I left correctional health care, left that company, and I went with another non-traditional area with a vendor, which is where I am now, QuadraMed Corporation. What we do here at QuadraMed sells healthcare software to different hospitals, not prisons, but physician offices, where we go in and implement electronic health records. We implement our coding system. We have just a variety of products and services that we do with QuadraMed. With QuadraMed, I started as a project supervisor in the identity management division. And what identity management does is it helps try to not prevent identity fraud. We don't try to prevent it. However, we do try to make it a little easier for registrars, schedulers within the hospital or the physician offices, allow them to find their patients a lot easier. So it's like an ease system for them. And another thing that we did on the back end was sold software or a workflow tool to the health information management department, so that when a duplicate is created, and a duplicate is where you have more than one medical record number at a single facility, at one hospital, when a duplicate is created, we were responsible for going in and cleaning up all of those duplicates. So it took a lot of research, a lot of things behind the scenes to try to determine if that person was indeed, if those two people or those two medical record numbers were indeed the same people. So looking at charts, flipping through charts, and you would imagine where charts used to be in some places. So we couldn't always wear our Sunday's best to go and get charts to review, to do chart audits on all of that. It just wasn't the best thing. But that's what we were responsible for. So as a project supervisor, I was responsible for hiring, managing, terminating in some cases, employees. She's frowning. Yes, I just had to get in there and do it. But in terminating employees for whatever they did wrong. But that was one of the things that we did. So in hiring these temporary staff, we had to train them. So we had to train them on the process. We had to train them on the hospital way of doing things, as well as our way of doing things. And the projects are always temporarily. So nothing ever lasts forever, but we travel to different cities, stay there for weeks at a time, and come home on the weekend. In some cases, we couldn't even come home on the weekend. We would work 100-hour weeks in order to get the project done. So that's where a lot of the 100% travel come in at, which is why she said I was in New York at one time and left New York, and one day went to Florida to train on new staff in Florida, and all in the same day flew to California to work projects in California. So that portion of the job it was good. I have my frequent flyer miles. I have my hotel points. A lot of benefits come out of that, but it's not all play. It's not all play, it's hard work. And so those 100-hour weeks come in and you're sleepless, you haven't been sleeping whenever, or you're only getting 2-3 hours of sleep. It really takes a toll on you. But that was what I wanted to do, and I enjoy it. I'm still with the company right now. While with the company, I also, in August of 2010, I received my master's degree in health informatics. And so what health informatics is more so the administration side of the information technology portion or department inside of hospitals. The degree doesn't teach you how to network, or the degree doesn't teach you how to learn C++. It doesn't teach you a lot of that. It teaches you an overall high-level management of the different avenues that you may have to tackle if you become the Chief Information Officer, which is one position that I hope a long-term goal for me, which is the reason why I chose that field. But I'm still with the company. I started out as a project supervisor. I stayed in that position for a couple of years. Recently, in July of last year, I was promoted to project manager. And as a project manager, you still pretty much do the same duties as a supervisor, but you have more client, you have more physician face-to-face time, or director face-to-face time, where you're truly responsible for this project failing or being a success. At that point, you're responsible for it. So as a project manager, I took that role for a couple of months, and in December of the same year of last year, I was promoted again to senior trainer, which is the position that I'm in now. Of course, I had to finish up duties as a project manager, which is why I'm just now getting comfortable in the position as a senior trainer. But as a senior trainer, I'm responsible for going out into the different hospitals or physician offices that implement our software and teaching them how to use it efficiently, the best way to use it, and the purpose of the system, so they won't try to take shortcuts, so they can get the best use of the system, which is the reason why the hospital or the organization purchased it. The travel is a little less. I don't have to stay weekends anymore, which I am so grateful for. Actually working about 40 hours a week, that's normal, huh? It took me a minute, it took me a little while to get comfortable with that. I used to call mom and I'm like, I'm working 40 hours, I don't think I'm working as hard as I'm supposed to. But I had got so used to working 60, 70, 80 hours. That was a normal work week for us. And that just goes to show that we were a hard-working team. We strive for perfection every time. And so we didn't want anything to fail. We wanted it to be perfect, and we wanted to succeed. And we did what it took to make that happen, even not sleeping, which was a bad thing, but that's okay. I was accustomed to it because I worked full-time and I went to school full-time for the past 6 years. So that was okay. I was used to that. But the travel now is a lot less. It's better. I only travel maybe 2 days out of the week when I do go out, and I go out to different areas nationwide. It's not a limited East Coast or West Coast travel. I'm nationwide. I was recently, maybe about 2 weeks ago, working in Pensacola, Florida for a week, and I just drove on home, which was great. I was able to come home and see family, and so it's been a long journey. I don't believe I tapped into a lot of the complications of the path, but that's okay. For those that only heard the success part of it, please understand that that's not all that happened. But success doesn't happen overnight, and it does not happen with a little bit of work. It's hard work. It's hard work, and it takes dedication for you to really get what you want. So if you want it, go get it. Don't let anything stop you. I was speaking with one of my fellow alums, and she was mentioning that she was going back to nursing school. Go for it. Nursing school wasn't for me. Nursing wasn't for me. I soon realized that after I worked inside of the hospital, having to go deliver charts to hematology or to the cardiology floor, and I would get sick to my stomach. How was I going to do that as a nurse? That was going to be no way. But I used to get sick, and I couldn't have anything in my mouth. It was just awful for me, and I was like, well, maybe this really wasn't for me. I'm glad that I didn't go this route, but what was for you may not be for the next person, but still don't allow that to stop you. One of the things that Dr. Nicholson, I don't know if you remember or not, but we always mentioned while my adventure here at JD was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The sky is the limit for anyone that wants to succeed. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, go get it. Don't let no one stop you. There are going to be people that's going to try to tear you down. They're going to try to stop you. And they're only stopping you because they want to be like you. And I had to learn, and Mom and Dad always mentioned to me that I don't have to prove myself to anyone but the people that need to be proven to. And I'm not trying to knock anybody out of the race. I'm going to get it for myself, and this is for me. So if you want it, go get it. But it's going to take hard work. It's not going to be easy. It's a long journey, but you'll make it. And I know you'll make it because I did. Thank you. Any questions? I guess I didn't think to.
Was the master's program online?
It was fully online. We only met once during each semester, and that was required for like orientation, where we would get the opportunity to meet our professors, and it was a way for them to bring the students together. Otherwise, we would never know each other. It was more so of a networking opportunity. And so, and without networking, I think not just with the master's program, but throughout the bachelor's program, networking meant a lot. Get out there, network, see who you can meet, because I met a lot of people that has helped me, and it's still helping me, that are still supporters, that just called me. Hey, Lucretia, she mentioned UAB. I have to go speak at UAB next month, but they remember me, and they remember me because I networked with a lot of them, and I'm still in touch with them, But it was fully online, and we met once a semester for like 2 or 3 days, and that was our time for the instructor to kind of bring us back together. So we'll forget each other, and we still write each other, still network, hey. And we had the program was so diverse, and it was hard. It was hard, but the program was so diverse to where one person wasn't perfect in that area. So we had our guys that was in the program that were experts at networking. I didn't know networking. I lashed to them. They once the medical records portion came up in the program, once those courses, the privacy, the HIPAA for those who are nursing, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, once those things kind of arose during the courses, networking guys didn't know it. All they know is networking, cables, and all of that. They didn't know it, so they lashed on to me. So that's okay. We all helped each other. So we all had, it was a diverse group, and it was excellent the way they kind of put us together.
I have a question. In our discussions about your field, my take on it is the marriage between medical records and technology. Could you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yes, it is a close marriage there. Again, the medical records, because the way technology is evolving now, we're evolving into this electronic or this paperless chart thing. And so the way medical records and technology forms there is all of the records, every paper chart that the physician walks out with now, they're now going to be electronic. And so you're going to go into the office, and all you're going to see is either they're going to have their iPad or tablet, or they're going to have an actual computer that they're going to be able to go in and type in your name or type in your medical record number, whichever one it's going to be, and they're going to be able to pull up your medical record. Again, it's not going to be in the form of a chart anymore because it's all pushing for electronic, and there's a lot of regulations behind that trying to push for us to become completely electronic by the year 2014. But with that said, the HIM department or the directors in the department, they still have to manage that. They still have to manage that piece of the electronic piece to make sure that we keep privacy the exact same, because it can't be treated any differently than a paper chart. It's actually a lot more sensitive electronically because anybody can access it. So you have to make sure we keep a hold on that so that it doesn't, the chart per se, electronically doesn't leave the area or no one's accessing that. That's not supposed to. So that's how we're kind of, and even with coding, I know a lot of you may see a lot of the coding jobs that are available, several, so many coding jobs, but coding is a part of the medical records department that's still within their area. And so, but coding is done completely online because of the electronic health record being online.
So it's probably safer to say it's a highly involving occupation.
Highly. And for those who love coding, I think coding is one of the biggest things that a lot of the medical records or the health information management students kind of cling to, because it's going to be needed. And that's the coding is the way the hospital get paid for your visit. So your chart has to be coded in order for the codes to go through, and then you got to go through billing, which is also still a part of medical records, and reimbursement. But that's how the chart has to be coded in order for the hospital to be reimbursed for your visit there, or for the physician to get reimbursed for that service. So it's evolving, and like I said, a lot of programs are promoting billing and coding, getting a certificate of billing and coding, but I don't think that a lot of students realize that a lot of hospitals are not just hiring individuals or students with just a certificate in billing and coding. They have to have a degree in health information management, and they have to have their credentials as a registered health information administrator, or the 2-year degree as a health information technologist specialist. But it's evolving. It's a way to go. If you like to sit and code and do nothing but read charts and by yourself in a little hole, that's the way to go. And it's being done at home. That is one of the things within the field that is being done completely at home for a lot of areas. Because hospitals are downsizing now because of the electronic health records. The departments don't have to be that big anymore. So that why waste money in an area that's not needed? So
Do you still have contact with patient care?
I don't.
Do you miss it?
I don't see any patients.
You miss it?
No. I can't. And I'll miss it because I don't think I really actually entered it. So it wasn't hard for me to leave it because I didn't have the opportunity. The only chance that I did have to do a little patient care was in high school whenever I was taking my courses, and we had to actually go do clinicals. And that's where the passion came from, and being surrounded and shadowing different RNs in the hospitals, going to labor and delivery and doing that. That was the only patient care that I actually had, but I didn't do it enough to fall in love with it like that in order to leave it. But I love the non-patient care as well.
One other question that I have is, you mentioned your love for computers. So I was kind of thinking of the path of discovery, finding yourself. You talked about some of the challenges that you had, but just as you were discovering this field, you were also developing a love for computers. And I think for our young people, that's kind of important to kind of know where your passion lies, even when you discover some along the way.
Right.
And that helps you to find your way. As you can say now, really nursing never really did it for me, but this does.
And I think it was a lot of things that where I probably should have opened my eyes to nursing. My grandmother, again, played a huge part as she tried to prepare me for nursing school. So she loved for me to clean her dentures. And cleaning her dentures, that was one of the things that I You kind of have to do it someday. You need to get used to it. I should have thrown my hand. That was my sign. You know, I was like, you know what, Grandma, I don't think I'm cut out for it. I don't think, but it's a part of the job. In reality, it really is a part of the, well, they have a lot of patient care techs that do that work now, but that's a part of taking care of the patient. That's, but,
Mr. Prairie is going to bring some closing comments, but thank you for sharing your story and for me to be able to reach all the way back to the years of Upward Bound and Escambia County High School and summers in the Upward Bound summer component of the Bridge program, and to follow that journey from the outside all the way through student support, and for sharing your challenges and sharing your victories and sharing your heartache and successes and being so open and I just admire your resiliency and your persistence and your patience and your kindness, and boy, you've inspired me. So thank you for sharing. It's been, I know you have closing remarks, so I need to hush, but this has been a wonderful day for all of us, staff and everyone. It's been a day of celebration as we set out to do, and all of the successes that I just admire each of you here, and what a wonderful journey that we've had, and thank you for blessing us and letting us be a part of your lives.
I just want to say, sorry. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Nicholson and Dr. Billy. Thank you for, especially, I do speak with you on occasion, but Dr. Nicholson, you have been there, you have reached out. Thank you. Thank you. I won't go no further. Thank you, because you have no idea how much people that love you and that support you. Thank you. Thank you for staying in contact. Thank you for when you didn't hear from me. For whenever, Lucretia, are you okay? Thank you. And thank you for always thinking of me. I was telling Mama that I was like, she always contact me to go and do it, and I never can. I was like, and I always told her, if there's anything on the weekend, call me, because I can go, because I travel schedule is just hectic. Whenever you have plane tickets, and it's hectic, and it wasn't as easy to come, but thank you, because I had to come today.
She brags on you. And Mama, we're proud of you too.
Thank you. I just wanted to, and thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for having me. Thank you.